Hi, my name is Liz with Big Hairy Dog, and today we are going to be going over Retail Pro version 9 promotions. We're going to get started here in just a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and give a few minutes for our registered attendees to go ahead and finish getting on in. All right, so we'll officially get started here in a few minutes. Thank you so much. And again, this is Liz with Big Hairy Dog. All right, so I think we have almost all of our registrants. Oh, that's not a word. Sorry about that. But I think we have almost everybody in. We're going to go ahead and get started here for today. Again, this is Liz, and we're going to be going over Retail Pro promotions. For today, everything that we go over will be recorded, and all of the documentation, which includes essentially just one single PDF file, will be emailed out to everybody who was registered. So if there are people who missed the beginning or have to cut out a little bit early, please rest assured that you will get the email sent out to you as soon as possible. And then, of course, it will be available online in our previously recorded webinars. Okay, for those of you that this might be your first webinar, normally everybody does come in muted. If you have a mic and have a question, feel free to raise your hand. I will unmute your mic and we can go ahead and chat a bit. If you do not have a mic or prefer not to use it, feel free to also just type in your questions. I will try to answer them as we go through the session. But if it is something that we need to dive a little deeper, or it is a little bit more specific to your store, I might go ahead and mention that I will just touch base at the end. We will have more than enough time. I do not think that this will be the full 2 hours today, but if we have a really good combo going, then of course we're going to keep it rolling as long as we can. Okay, so on my screen right now is a brief agenda of everything that we are going to go over. So again, today we are going to be looking at RPro promotions. That is Retail Pro V9's promotional tool. Now this is a separate executable to Retail Pro, but it does come with Retail Pro. So no additional licensing, no additional fees. We essentially just need to set it up for you. All right, so bring this up. All right, my apologies. I seem to have just a little bit of a lag here. My training system just trying to keep up with our webinar here. Give me just a moment. I appreciate everyone's patience. right. Like I said, I'm so terribly sorry for that delay. My laptop just froze up and we're ready to go ahead and get started here. Yes, so I apologize, Chance. Yes, I was just muted because this was not loading up for me, but everything's good. And again, this is nothing to do with the Retail Pro or RPro promotions itself. That was just my poor laptop was not quite ready for my screen sharing just yet, but everything looks like we're working now, so we're going to keep going. Okay, so like I mentioned, we're going to go ahead and be going through this particular agenda, and I will be sending out all of our PDF information. The PDF is directly from Retail Pro, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit of that right here. So this is actually available through myretailpro.com as well. We, of course, have our own documentation and previously recorded webinars on Big Hairy Dog, and admittedly, this guy here is a bit of a dry read, but it is really invaluable if you needed just to quickly remember how to do something like customer pricing, or you don't quite remember what a field does or what I should enter into this field. It is perfect for that. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. And to get started, I'm going to open up Retail Pro Promotions or RPro Promotions. Like I said, this is a separate executable on your desktop. And if you guys don't already have RPro Promotions set up, it is a pretty quick call. We can just set up that appointment and give you a quick little refresher if you need it. Okay, so starting from the left, we have our customer pricing. I will admit that usually the customer pricing is the least often used. This gets really specific and really granular. Oh, 1 second, we have a question. Oh, yes, sorry about that if I cut out a little bit. So look, there's a question on where we can go ahead and get our RPro Promotions PDF. So this is downloadable on myretailpro.com, myretailpro.com. But I will be making sure that this gets sent out to all people who are in attendance and all people who are registered. So you'll get an email from Big Hairy Dog with this PDF attached. All right. Taking a look back at our customer pricing. So for customer pricing, again, this is very, very specific. This is customer A gets this discount on these items, and that's just going to be automatic. Now, remember, we do also have a customer discount in Retail Pro proper here. We're going to take a little detour. We're going to go to Customer Management and Customers. And I'm just going to highlight a customer and remind you guys where we can add that. And so here is our customer discount. Be careful, we also do have a max discount. Max discount is the maximum they are able to receive. And of course, their customer discount is their automatic discount at point of sale. So if they get a blanket discount across the board, this is the easiest place to add it. Now, if we got to get a little bit more granular here, add it. I can add a discount reason as well. And so our discount reasons, these are attached to the reasons that we have set up in our V9 system preferences. So if you wanted to add additional reasons, you can add them in system preferences. I will go ahead and remind you where. And hop back out to our main menu. And we're going to go to Options, System Preferences, Local Preferences, Point of Sale, General, Price Discounts. So that is a little bit of a ways down, but point of sale, general, price discounts, this is our list of current active discount reasons. We can arrow down to open up that next line, and we can type in our new reason. Oh, already have that one. Of course, it will not let you go ahead and type in one that you already have, so we do got to be careful with that. But we could do something as basic as quantity 2. There we go. And you'll notice that it does also save as soon as you hop off the line. All right, so it looks like we have a hand raised. So Jacob, looks like I unfortunately cannot unmute you. Looks like you're self-muted. Not sure if you have a mic on your system or not. Feel free to go ahead and type your question or unmute yourself. All right, take your time on that question. You can always come back. Okay, so again, this is where we can go ahead and add those additional discounts. Yes, this webinar will be recorded and it will be sent out to all of our registrants, and it will be available on previously recorded webinars after the fact. Thank you. All right, so I've added a few reasons for us to use. I can just hit update over here. And now you will notice that this does not automatically add them. We would have to go ahead and cancel it and then have it relaunch. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and pick sale. It's easy, safe. Now, if you forget to set a discount reason, it will use the discount reason none. We got to be really careful with the discount reason none, both here and in our sales. Any none discount reason will show up on your X or Z out as an undefined discount. So that's what it is. All right. Now, let me go ahead and, sorry, I'm gonna move my controls around a little bit. Perfect, let's get this out of the way. And let's make sure my screen is still being shared. There we go, we're back. All right, so over here I have my list name, and this is going to be, again, specifically for Angie here. So I'm going to go ahead and add Angie to my list con. I'm just using last names to keep it straight for myself here. There we go. So as soon as we add them to the list, we can add as many as we want. We can also remove said customer from that list. All right, I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here. And I can also use my choose edit items. Essentially, what gets added to this? What do they get that discount on? And so let's go ahead and grab a few items here. We can set up our list price. There we go. Add selected items. So like I said, very granular. We can add as many customers as we want. We can add as many items as we want. But this is the key to giving somebody an automatic discount that we can control a lot easier than the blanket customer discount. All right, and a big thing with our promos, no matter what type of promo you are using, we do always want to test these promotions. So we're going to go ahead and talk a lot about testing in just a second. We're going to go through a few more of these promos. We got to be careful to make sure that we don't have conflicting promos as well. That's where priority is going to come in order. But again, our customer, it's a little bit rare that we use these. We want to make sure that we save if the save is available. If the save is not available, that just means you must have hopped off the line. It does auto save as you go, but you have to hop off that line. All right. Now we can go ahead and insert lines here. We can remove lines and delete records. Remember, the easiest is going to be going through our choose edit items screen. Now we can go ahead and sort this as well, and we can filter. That filter line is rather small, but that is a filter line, and there's a little icon to the left that shows that it is a filter line. All right, if you are in a multi-subsidiary environment, you can also toggle between subsidiaries. All right. So if you have any questions on customer pricing, of course, feel free to, or customer pricing promos, feel free to go ahead and type them in. But again, that one's pretty straightforward. We can have as many lists as we need, and people can be part of multiple lists. So you do want to, again, be careful that we don't have promos fighting each other. Now, under promos, this is a very flexible promo type. You'll find that actually a few of these promo types, they overlap a lot. One part of the struggle is finding out what is the easiest for me to set up. Some are pretty straightforward, buy one, get one. We have a BOGO for that. Others, we might have to go ahead and we might find yourself in the middle of setting up a promo and then realizing this is going to work a lot better as a quantity discount. Don't get discouraged. The more practice you have in here, the better. All right, so I have a few promos going on right now. Some of them have expired, but you can keep them here. And so you'll notice I do not have an expiration start date or an end date on my first one here. That means it's an open promo. That guy is kind of just always running in the background. This guy here was scheduled, so we're going to talk about that. I'm going to just insert a new row here. So we're working on a brand new promo. Of course, what is required is we got to give it a name. So let's go ahead and say 15% off. All right, that's my vendor code for Big Hairy Dog. So we're going to do 15% off Big Hairy Dog. Now our priorities, if you do have multiple promos that deal with the same item, this is where priority starts to play a lot more of a bigger role. So right now I'm going to go ahead and just set that as a priority 2. And we do also have to watch out for whether or not we are choosing to accumulate promotions or accumulate discounts. So if in your setup, you have one discount and it will override the others, priority is really, really important. For those of us that are allowing people to accumulate discounts, we just want to make sure that we're not double dipping. Or if we're okay with double dipping, that's fine. All right, subsidiary, although I only have one, I still have to select it. That is something we unfortunately will not get away from. Stores, now you can select specific stores for these promos. So you can create our promos for one store and have entirely different promos set up for another one. We do have to go ahead and poll using move list. What might be a little bit easier for most people is to actually dial into that remote server and move the files manually. We can talk more about that. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and throw in both of my stores. So no matter where you go, I am running the same promotion. Now, discount includes, this is where really the fun starts. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. So this is my item filter, and I can filter by just about anything, including all of my user-defined and auxiliary fields. Remember that your user-defined fields are going to be fields that you have created because you had a need for it. For example, we don't have a place to store material. So, or we also don't have a place to store promo code or holidays. So if you are using one of these UDF fields for any of those reasons, you'd be able to go ahead and set up promos for those items. I have a really great example. One of my clients uses a user-defined field to mark holiday items. And as soon as that holiday is over, they turn on the Halloween promo and it automatically brings all of those items 15% off, 10% off, whatever she's decided to do for that year. All right. Of course, an easy one is going to be DCS code or something like vendor code. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that over. So we hit the add import button, and that does give us one more additional pop-up. So we have the filter for that actual field. So over here, we're set to vendor code. We can change it even now if I wanted to. And by default, it lands on contained. When it's something like a promo, especially something as specific as a vendor code, I like to set that to equals. So that way there is no confusion. It has to say BHD in the vendor code to qualify for this. All right. Now I did want to point out we have this little OR checkbox. This is because of our AND OR logic. By default, when you enter filters, it is set to AND. It has to have this vendor code, and it has to have this in description 1. And then it qualifies. If we check off that or, that's just giving it that flexibility of vendor code or something in description 1. That's about it. All right. Do be careful with does not contain, does not equal. Those are a little bit harder to master, but of course there are times where that is exactly what you need. Our OR file, this allows you to import files that contain a lot of information. For example, if you wanted to put 7 DCS codes on sale, instead of typing in all 7, we'd be able to export that from your V9 and then import that here. 7's not too much, though I guess I probably should have picked a larger number. But this is an option for those of us who need something a little bit bigger. All right, for now I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. So vendor code must equal VHD, and that's about it for now. Now, like I said, I can add additional. You see it does not equal 0. So this filter, it's an unnecessary filter, but it's an example to kind of show how we can add additional information. And when you click it, you can edit, or you can flip the and or. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and hit that remove, and we're all done. Now, I can also select specific items or styles, just like I could with our customer pricing promos. All right. Oh, so we have a question, some examples as to why we would ever use does contain or does not contain. So a good example of a time that you might use that is if you are searching for something that has X in description 1 or Y in a user defined field is where usually I see that. So let's say you have a specific style from a specific vendor. So vendor code has to equal X, and description 1 cannot contain blank. And that whatever the blank is, it's my newest brand new style that I don't want it to go on discount because it needs no help in being sold. So that's a guarantee that I'm not accidentally selling something that I don't want to sell from that vendor, or discounting something that I don't want to discount from that specific vendor. And then as for contains, that's again going to be something more along the lines of holiday. So if you break it out into holiday Halloween, holiday Easter, holiday Christmas, and at the end, I just want all of my holiday items on sale, then I need it to contain holiday. And then that's it, I get everything. All right. So for this guy, our discount includes VHD. A start date, again, not required, but great to know that you can use. You can set up weekend sales, semi-annual sales. You can set up annual sales, and then just schedule it out, and you don't have to worry about it again. If you are setting up a promo for in the future, for maybe this weekend or 2 weekends from now, when you are testing, you got to be sure to change it back to today, because that will drive you nuts. End date. Let's just end it tomorrow. All right, next is our discount type. So what kind of discount are we giving? Is that a discount amount, percent, or are we discounting the price of these items? Now, the discount for the price of these items is usually going to be used when we're doing an item level promotion. Right now, we're doing a vendor level promotion, so that's a little bit too broad. There's no way all of my items are going to be $20. So I'm going to go ahead and use a percentage. As you can tell, I really like percentages. And let's just do a quick 15% off. Now, the next field here, combine with quantity discounts. So we do, of course, have our quantity discounting. We also have quantity discounts within Retail Pro itself, those promo pricings. And so it's just an option, yes, no, do we want to be able to accumulate those discounts? Now, price levels. What price level will this promo work with? And so my retail price is my price level 1. So of course, I'm going to click level 1. I also have an employee and a military price level. That is going to be price level 2 and 3. Do they get this promo? If the answer is yes, then we want to go ahead and make sure that we click that and we give them access to this promotion. Of course, if you're not quite sure, you can always select all. This will always show 250 price levels, even if you're only using 2. So just kind of be aware of that. All right. Now the filter for me at the item level is going to be perfect. And again, my discount reason, and there are the 2 additional reasons that I set up earlier are BOGO and my quantity 2. And for right now, I'm going to go ahead and say, we'll just say sale for that guy. Now under schedule, this is another really important step that a lot of people forget or get tripped up on. So we can schedule this out. If it is something that we can run daily, we just check our daily, but you have to be sure to change our 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. to something a little bit more open. And unfortunately, that is the default from the system. And it's just something that we have to warn our associates. We have to warn whoever is using promos to keep an eye out for. It does default to 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. All right. And while I'm over here, just to point it out, this is also a great way of limiting it to specific times. So it can be daily every day for the next 2 weeks, but only from 1 to 3 p.m., the time that I need to get more people into my store. All right, coupon code. Now this one is only used if you want your associates to have to enter some kind of coupon, some kind of code before the promo gets applied. So that does take away some of the automatic nature of RPro promotions. But at the end of the day, it is the way to kind of make sure that people aren't just walking in and getting it. They're coming for the sale. For my setup here, I am not going to go ahead and add that coupon code. And leave that as is. And we just want to, again, save. So before jumping around to any screen, you always want to be sure you save or you hop off the row. The system will allow you to toggle between promo types while you're still working on a promotion. And if you don't notice, it can give you just a few errors telling you that you have to save. Don't worry about it. Just come back and save that line. All right. So let's go ahead and open up my Retail Pro here. And just really quick, I'm going to make sure that my vendor code was appropriate. And if not, I can change it really quick. All right, perfect. So I do have 2 items from that vendor. So I'm going to make sure I go ahead and give it a different price here and a price here, because I do want to be able to see some discount. I'm going to go into sales and receipts. All right, so that little pop-up is one way that we know that our promos are connected and working. One thing with promos, if you do not already have it set up, but I do want to go ahead and make sure that people are aware of, by default, the system does add a little bit of time to point of sale. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. Let me go ahead and come over here. Apologize, my training data here can take a second sometimes. I'll take that second to remind everybody about the importance of maintaining your database and cleaning up things like your old POs, old SOs. That's something I don't do often in my training data, and that's one reason why it's a little bit slower than normal. All right, so we got that please wait while promos are being calculated. So that is the pop-up that we get in between scans because the system is running over to our RPro promotion. Now, we can go ahead and have it calculate at the end. If we do have it calculate at the end, then it will not show the discounted price as you are scanning if you have a customer-facing poll display. So there is flexibility with the system, but there is also just a little bit of a give and take. And so you see we got that item on the screen twice. It automatically applied our 15% discount and used that discount reason failed. So I know that this promo is working perfectly. I can inactivate it for right now. I can change the schedule and set it up to the day that I actually need it. All right. And so we can go ahead and tender this like normal, but like I said, I know that these are working, so I can just remove these items. There we go. So running back to promos to tell it that we're not using it, and we're good. Now you might ask yourself, why does it check promos when you're removing inventory from the screen? And that is because of our quantity discount promotion. So if we need 2 to trigger the promo, you take one off, the other one will drop its discount. Okay. Speaking of a quantity discount, I have one set up right here. Now, setting up promos, quantity pricing, Bogos, these are actually pretty similar to each other. The only one that's a little different is our customer pricing. And like I said, that one gets used probably a lot less frequently. So for this one, we won't build a new one, but I'm going to show you how I built this guy here. So again, promo name, we want to make sure we give it a name that is required. Priority, also required, and subsidiary, also required. Stores, we could set them. And then under our discount includes, this is what triggers my discount. So what triggers my discount is any item with the DCS code women's apparel jackets. That is what that DCS code stands for me. Now the next part is what this discount applies to. So what this discount applies to is also within the women's department. So this is essentially if you buy, 2 of any of these women's jackets from this department, you're going to get 10% off. Now, this does give you the flexibility of giving out different things or giving away different things, different discounting, completely separate SKUs. This is a great way to do things like you buy this product here, I will give you a calendar. In that case, we would set our discount type to price, and the amount would be $1, and that would get applied to whatever is in my discount applies to field. Let's actually go ahead and build that out a little. Okay, we have a quick question here. Oh, so using 2 different types of promos for that overlap onto the same item. So if you have 2 of the same discounts, for example, I give 10% off a case of 5-ounce cans, and then the 12-ounce cans, the customer has to buy 12 and they get another discount. And absolutely, we're going to run into a little bit of an issue. For example, the code that I'm currently using, this quantity DCS code women's apparel jackets, I really like to use that DCS code. I have another women's apparel jackets over here on my promos. This is just giving 10% off to everything. And over here, I'm saying you need to buy 2 in order to get the 10% off. So this is where priority comes into play, and how the discounts are applied comes into play. So let's go ahead and just take a really quick look into my options and discount order. So I can see here, first promos are applied. Following that, my quantity discounts are applied. What that means is if I get a women's jacket on my screen right now, despite the fact that the quantity promo wants me to get 2 of them before it gives the discount, my regular promo is going to allow it to get the 10%. And so we really want to pay attention to, like I said, priority, and then your discount order. That is going to control which one trumps at the end of the day. But if they are the same DCS code, we can go ahead and start thinking about going about it in a different direction. Perhaps you can say give it a promo code, use an auxiliary field or a user-defined field, and change it. Give it the second priority. Which one is most important to you? Because that's really ultimately, at the end of the day, both promos qualified for the same exact item. We have to decide which one is going to trump when they buy the entire case. We can talk a little bit more about that at the end. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and keep on going on our quantity discounts. Please let me know if I didn't quite answer your question. But yes, we will just need to focus on priority and the discount order. All right, speaking of, and before I try to go ahead and continue on with my quantity, because that will give me an issue, we're going to go ahead and delete that other one. Okay. So this discount, once again, applies to anything in my women's apparel jacket. And so if they buy 2, and then the quantity 2 is essentially the upper limit. So I put 999. This is essentially infinity for me. I don't think I'm ever going to sell 900 or 1,000 jackets in one transaction. That'd be really great if I could. But essentially anything above 2 is going to get that 10% discount. Let's change that back to 10% discount. There it is. Your discount type is really important. The amount, it does not matter. If you say amount tier, that 10 turns into taking $10 off. If you say price, that 10 turns into you're making all of these jackets $10 at once they buy 2. All right. And again, can we combine this with promos? Yes or no? Just like on our promos, we got the option to combine with quantity discount. Again, we have our price levels, and you'll find this part is not very user-friendly. I admit, I apologize in advance for those that have smaller monitors, but you will have to go ahead and shrink some of your screen in order to get all of the fields available. So let me close up priority, and I don't need my promo name to be as long. All right, but this part at the end is exactly the same. This is just how it behaves, how it determines when it can be active, and this it determines what items are included. So again, my price levels, my discount reason, and my schedule. You can be really careful with that 12 a.m. if you're doing daily. Coupon code, I will not have anything. Start date, we're going to go ahead and start that today, and then end date, we're going to let that run until the end of the year, or the end of the month, excuse me. Now, let me just really quick pull out my schedules one more time. Remember that I did say that this can be something that you set up a semi-annual, monthly, weekly sale, and under schedule, this is how you would do it. You do have to be careful with those start and end dates though, because we can schedule this out monthly, but if your start and end date is only for this month, then it does not qualify. All right. And so we got to save that. Now, the system is tolerant, but we do have to hop out of receipts. All right, so just getting back to that main menu and then hopping back into receipts, that's when it gets a chance to refresh those promos, and we're good to go. All right. Perfect. And again, we got our women's jackets. One of them, no discount. We got the second one, and that triggered our 10% off with that same discount reason sale. We are 2 for 2, doing really good on our promos. Now, if you run into any trouble on your promos, I will say take it with a little grain of salt. There are times where you do everything right, and unfortunately, that line just got corrupted. You know, computers are fallible, and so a lot of the times, if you feel like you kind of tried everything, delete the line and start over. a good amount of times that actually knocks out the problem for most people. And when in doubt, get back to your PDF, make sure that you fully understand all of the questions that you are being asked, and double check your schedules and your start dates. This is really probably the biggest pain point for most people. All right, pricing discounts, just the same. We're going to be able to add our promo name, priority, subsidiary, and stores. Item filter, we can go ahead and add this. Now, one thing I did like to go ahead and mention, when you're doing equals, I normally suggest copying and pasting out of Retail Pro, especially when you're dealing with DCS code. Let's take a quick second to back up. All right. Now, this is actually a really good example of why. So my DCS code is really just A or BAH, right? And that stands for something that makes sense to me, but it has extra spaces when you really look at it. And those extra spaces are meant as essentially just placeholders because the system is looking for a very specific format. So if I wanted to use this, it would be best just to Control Charlie, Control C, and then pop over here and Control Victor. There we go. So I know that it's exact, and that's all I need. That's actually a the DCS code, so I need to update that. And there we go. And go ahead and hit OK. Now again, we can add our start date and end date, pricing information, and price level information. Promo pricing, again, is a pretty specific one, but this is something that you would probably use specific ALUs or codes for. Again, that's a good one to start looking at, like holidays or items that are part of the same style, because it's one set price. All right, so let's actually pick up ALU instead. That's also going to be equals, and we're going to do. There it is, and I'm going to highlight this guy and remove. You'll notice that my arrow buttons do come alive as well. You can go ahead and change the priority of your filters or the order of your filters. And there we go, and okay. All right, and I know that's going to be a pretty big discount, but that's okay. All right, so specifically for whatever stores I select, whatever subsidiaries I select, this item, when added during my start or end date promo time, the price just becomes $10. Now remember, we can make this exact same promo under promos. We can set up our reason, coupon code, everything else. Please let me know if you guys want to dig into pricing a little bit more. This one's a little bit, you don't have as many options here, so I figured we can go ahead and move on. And like I mentioned, you can make that exact same promo under promos, but it is a little bit easier, a little bit more straightforward for individual items through pricing. All right, now the fun one, Bogos. This is the one a lot of people really like, but a lot of people actually have some issues with this. So one big thing is if you've been using promotions or you have an older version of Retail Pro version 9, you might want to have us take a look at these Bogos. You might have to update your Bogos. There's actually a little bit of a fix that comes with the regular promotions. If we set you up, then you're probably fine, but if you're setting yourself up, it is in our PDF here, but there is a section where we have to apply a fix for Bogos. All right, and this is that fix. It's actually really straightforward and really easy if anybody is wanting to go ahead and update and apply promotions themselves. But if you take a look at the PDF and it is a little out of the range of your comfortability, then of course, just jump on the board, give us a call. We'll go ahead and help you get that BOGO fixed up. Right. Again, that is only an issue for the BOGOs. Everything else is going to run appropriately, even if you have an older, newer, it doesn't matter. All right. So for our Bogos, I can see I have one set up right here already. So 10 for 100. And so this is essentially giving $10 off when you buy over $100 worth of product. So this is one that's a little bit special, and I wanted to show everyone. All right, so for this particular BOGO, we are using a subtotal goal, essentially. So use subtotal and a buy threshold. So in order to activate this promotion, they have to buy $100 worth of product, and that has to be before tax. Okay. Oh, this is one of those pop-ups that you get if you try to arrow down without saving. So let's go ahead and make sure that that's saved. Oh, there we go. Oh, sorry about that. That's actually a different one. Again, an example of it will let you hop to that next promo while you're still actively creating a promo here. And head back to Bogos. There we go. Good, good. All right, I think I might have confused my promos. So let's relaunch. Please excuse my messy screen. Now you do need permissions to access promos. That is part of our employee permissions under our group management. But of course, sysadmin is going to have every right to do whatever sysadmin wants. Okay. All right, and so sorry, we have a quick question. Oh, so it looks like the question is we want to go ahead and give away a free gift with the purchase of a food bag from 2 different DCS codes. And yeah, so that's where a great example of when we'd want to use or. So you can get this DCS code or this dog food from this DCS code or this DCS code. And then we would still give it the free item, and that's going to be over here. We could do that with a quantity promotion pretty easily. So this discount includes, this is where we'd want to go ahead and use our or DCS code and add the secondary DCS code. We might have to add a few more depending on how granular you need it. Is it every dog food in that DCS code, or is it specifically this brand of dog food within this DCS code? Then we might have an easier time going via brand or by description 1. But we're going to use the ORs. And then the discount applies to, we would go ahead and again use that specific ALU. I wouldn't want a DCS code here because we want to give away a specific item. We can also use UPC. And then, yeah, if it's a specific brand, you can do it by either brand, style. You can even granularly add all of those ALUs or UPCs. The key is just to make sure that, and actually this is good for all of our promos, the key really is understanding your filters and being as comfortable with them as you can possibly be. And one of the easiest ways to kind of make sure that you have the appropriate filters and your promo is not applying to things that you don't want it to, is to run that promo in your inventory or run that filter in your inventory screen. So I want specifically this vendor and this description 1 and this ALU. You hit OK and make sure that only the things that you want on promo are showing up on the screen. If we're seeing things that you don't want on promo, we might have to adjust our filtering. All right. But again, this would be a specific promo here. OK. And then instead of a discount percent, I'm going to discount that price. So when they buy 2 or more, they're going to get this item for free. Now we can do something similar in a BOGO as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Come on, there we go. All right. So we're going to give it a name, Bogo. I'm going to give it a priority of 1, subsidiary, and this is for all of my stores. So my buy item filter, see, pretty much the exact same as our quantity. What item do they have to buy in order to activate this? And again, we can go ahead and use ALU, UPC. And I already have my inventory open, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab something. And I'm going to grab something outside of the women's jackets, even though I love using it so much. There we go. Equals, and okay. So you have to buy this item. Now I can add more items to that. I can add different filters to that. But ultimately, that's what you have to buy. And now how many of those do you have to buy? So let's make this a buy 2, get the third one free. So you have to buy 2. Now the get item filter, because the get item filter is something completely separate, of course they can get another one of the same item for free, or we can give them a different freebie, free calendars, free dog treats, free anything, or discounted anything. All right, let's go ahead and give them a different ALU though. We'll say they can get a door. I love my training data sometimes. All right, there we go. So they get this item for free. And so I can go ahead and say, okay. Something a little bit special with our Bogos that we didn't have in other areas was our reward selector. So by default, it is looking to give away a reward item. We can apply it as a global discount, or we can go ahead and apply it towards a gift card. Now, your average user is probably going to go ahead and do it as a reward item. That's going to be your traditional Bogo, but we have the flexibility to do whatever you need. There we go. And of course, don't forget that we can always go ahead and just cherry pick items as well. Not only cherry pick items, I can add the entire style if I'd like. It's a little bit easier if you have a few of them that you wanted to use the OR logic with. All right, now how many do they get? And I'm going to just say 1. And does this apply once? Can they get it multiple times? And so apply once really only controls how many times it gets applied on one receipt. There's nothing stopping them from getting back in line except for your sales associates, really. And if they don't notice that it's the same person, the system has no way of really catching that, especially if they don't put the customer on the receipt. All right, but we can choose whether it applies once or not. And then the discount, we're going to be setting it as a price. And there we go. So now they are going to buy 2 of this ALU. They're going to get 1 of this ALU for our 0 price. Start date, again, I want to test this today, so I'm going to go and open it up, and I'll just put it through till tomorrow. End time, I'm not going to go ahead and put in an end time. Apply to price. So what does this get applied to? We can do the highest price, the lowest price, or optimize. Optimize does optimize it in your favor. We'll leave that at our highest price, though I know for this particular promo, this is not really as important because there is only one item that is getting the discount. If there was multiple items getting the discount at different price ranges, that's when I would care a little bit more about my apply to price. All right, and again, we have that same coupon code if you want them to have to present a coupon. One thing I did not mention about the coupon code, I will bring it up when we jump back into Retail Pro here, is we have to add the coupon code to the screen, to the point of sale screen. All right, but discount reason, we'll go ahead and say BOGO. And the buy reason, I'm going to go and use the same, so BOGO, but we do have separate buy and discount reasons. Now, I do not want to use the subtotal in this case. They do not have to hit any kind of threshold. Really, the only thing is you have to buy the correct item. Okay, so now we're going to save. And we are all good. Now it's time to go ahead and test this. So one more time, I'm going to go ahead and back out, get back to my main menu, go to sales and receipts. I'm going to hit new. All right, promo is getting calculated, and this guy was 109. Oh, I need a quantity of 2 there, so I'm going to go ahead and add the 2. There we go. So I needed to buy 2. I had only had 1, so it did not apply that discount. As soon as I got the appropriate quantity, though, it applied that automatic receipt discount to my item 109 to the door. All right, and you can see our discount reason BOGO and BOGO. So our BOGOs are working. All of our promos seem to be working just fine. So now I am super happy with opening up my item buy filters to the real ones or to the DCS codes. That's another thing I might suggest for people if you're not quite sure, you really needed the time to test out your promotion. I might build a few test items. That way you're not affecting live sales as they're going. You can use these fake items, set your filters to ALU, and then open them up to the appropriate ones once you know you have what you need. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this receipt and discard. Oh, actually, I'm jumping into Page Designer when really what I needed is over here. So this coupon is how we go ahead and apply the coupon codes. Let me actually, open this up a little bit more so you guys can see it. There we go, and save. All right. So essentially, once we have the items on the screen that qualify for the promo, if they need a promo code, the discount does not automatically apply. We would have to come over here to coupon number, type it in, and then it will actually apply the discount, and it will give us the promo name right here in the coupons box. But that's the only difference when using a coupon. Now, this is a lot of real estate to give up to coupons, but really I can shrink that down. I just wanted it for visibility. All right, so let's go ahead and hop on over here. So we've gone through how to build your standard promos. Now, just really quick, I want to go and take a look at our options here. If you are enabling this yourself, the PDF will walk you through this part, but we want to make sure that enable the RPro plugin is checked. Otherwise, it just will never work. We can choose as well a few things over here as where our receipts write information, if there are manual overrides, that kind of thing, and we can make those edits here. For those of you who aren't sure what an item note is a place where you can add additional information about that item at time of sale. So it is the perfect place for our RPro promotions to write little notes. And item note 5 is usually a safe one. Normally, item note 1 is the only one used by our point of sale users. Now, I wanted to go ahead and talk about our disabling and applying our manual promotion. So down over here, this is how we would set up if you wanted it to not individually apply the discount. Essentially, this is saying, I want you to wait and I will apply my promotions myself using the apply promo button or perform it automatically when I hit the tender button. So this is essentially just saying, hang tight. Don't show the discounts, wait until I hit the tender, then apply everything. That's going to be the best for those of us who have many little items on promos, or those things where you buy a really great example. We have a store that does, if you buy a certain number of pet food cans, then you get a discount. So he's sitting there scanning, and we got to get to a decent number. It's about 12. And so that time in between scans is a little too long with the customer right in front of you. So having it add those discounts at the very end is the best for them. All right. And we could choose to have it ignore manually discounted items. So that's essentially saying if somebody else gave you a discount, then sorry, no, it does not apply for these promos any longer. All right, price levels. Again, this is going to go ahead and show you which promos are automatically applied to what price levels, and we can change this individually on the fly, but this is default. Again, that discount order, which one takes the cake? Right now, it is set up essentially as our defaults here. Subtotal Bogos are the newest one. That one's on the bottom. You'll see that one doesn't really move around. Like I said, the Bogos themselves, the newer ones, we got to apply that fix. So there's a little bit more limited. Now for scheduling, this is something that we really won't use. Most of our users are not using Retail Pro seasonality, so I would just advise to stay away from this, essentially. Now, for importing and import rules, this is going to be if you have a multi-store environment, you can, again, use a move list to send them out. My issue with move list is that although we try our best to make sure that all Retail Pro is set up the same way, there are some times where it needed to be installed on a different drive for whatever reason. And if we're not clear on the path, then the polling just does not work effectively. That being said, we can pull the files from one store and we can drop the files and import them into another store just by connecting to the two separate workstations at each store. So it's always an option for us. All right, let me go ahead and come back out. Now, this is our main menu here. I do want to show you guys that our little question mark here. If you guys forget where you have your PDF, or it's just a little bit far away, just get a quick reminder. This gives you that little heads up on this is probably the best place if you wanted to make this type of promo. It just gives you a little bit more of a blurb on what you can do in that area. All right, but again, our best is going to be coming back to our table of contents here. Like I said, this whole thing is rather long and it's a super dry read. Use it for those reminders on these separate Bogos, all these separate promos, excuse me. Now, one final thing. There are some system preferences that we need to go ahead and look at when we're dealing with promos as well. We already looked at one, probably the biggest one, point of sale general price discounts. Again, this is going to be where we can add different discount reasons. Remember that your discount reasons do get broken out on your X and Z out, and we have other reporting, such as our Big Hairy Dog sales discount summary. That'll show you all of your discounts and the breakout of dollars and what that really meant to your business. And so to get the most accurate reporting, to get the best reporting possible, we want to make sure that all of our promos have unique, or if they're not unique, that you're fine with having them all combined into one. Right now, I only have one BOGO set up, but I have two separate BOGO promos. They're both just using BOGO, and I'm okay with that. And we also need to be careful about requiring a customer. For example, if you have a promo that wants to use VIP, but the customer is not listed, you will get an error. So you got to be careful with those automatic promos and requiring customers on discount reasons. The other thing that we want to make sure is checked off is this guy right here, my automate promotions. So yes, I would like to automate my promotions. That is how it allows it to just set it by itself. Otherwise, we would need our apply promo button added to our point of sale screen. It really wants a vacation, doesn't it? I'm going to come into form view. So remember that you cannot edit a receipt in progress. So that's why I've been canceling in order to show you guys any of the design changes. Many designers. So we have both our apply promo and apply discount. So hang tight. I got to get rid of a few things to show it properly. And okay, and there we go. So of course those buttons are grayed out right now because I'm not on an active transaction and there's no promos or discounts to apply. But if you are using these buttons already, know that we can automate it. If you do not want to, you can still use promos. We just got to make sure we have that apply promo set up, and then we are set up to allow you to essentially choose when you apply it. So that apply manual promotion processing would utilize that button. All right, come back over here. So again, we went over our Bogos, customer pricing, quantity discount pricing. And then that final thing, test, test, test. Even if it was something that was working before and it's been some time, you're reactivating it or rebuilding it, we still want to test. Like I said, it's pretty rare, but there is the occasion where that line itself got corrupted somehow. And so we want to make sure that it's still working appropriately, especially before your big sale. All right, so we went through all of our promotions. And if you guys have any questions at all, please let me know. Let me see. And oh, Chance, so sorry. I think I missed one of your questions. So in regards to the 2 different DCSs and wanting to go ahead and give away a free item. Yes, if it's a specific brand, you can go ahead and just add the selected items by UPC. That's how you can guarantee yourself nothing else is going to be part of that, only those items. Honestly, ALUs and UPCs are the most surefire. Of course, when we open it up wider, we just want to test. Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, so like I said, my name is Liz. I'm with Big Hairy Dog. I'm going to be hanging out here for a while, so if anybody thinks of any questions, just hang tight on the line. But we are officially done with the main part of our webinar here. Before I let everyone go, I do want to remind you, this is my email address. If you have any questions or think of one as soon as you get off, please feel free to email. You can also email tech@BigHairyDog. If this is set up for you or has been set up in the past and you are getting any kind of errors or having trouble with it at all, just give us a call. We'll get you on the board and we'll go ahead and get you into promos so you can start practicing. If anybody would like an appointment to go over them a little bit further or to have additional people on the training as well, then you want to go ahead and contact service at Big Hairy Dog. All right. So thank you again for joining me today. Like I said, I'll hang out if anybody has any questions. Other than that, you guys are good to go. And just remember that the PDF that we looked at today, our RPro Promotions PDF, will be sent out as well as this video to everybody who was in attendance and who registered. Thank you so much, everyone. All right, so it looks like we have no additional questions at this time, so I will be ending the webinar and letting you guys go. Again, if you go ahead and think of a question as soon as we get off, please feel free to email me, tech, or service, and we're going to go ahead and make sure that you get taken care of. Remember that Promos as a whole is free and already part of Retail Pro. So we just need to make sure that it's installed and working appropriately for you in order for you guys to start getting those automatic promotions going. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.